out there. We do appreciate that live report from you. In Volusia County, we're already seeing major storm surge where there are mandatory evacuation orders in place there too. Yeah, the entire coast is being thrashed right now. Nicole Griffin is joining us live from Daytona Beach, where the situation is so serious there's a worry that a building could collapse. You've got new information on that?
Yes, good morning, Beth and Curtis. That is the situation over in Daytona Beach shores with all of the conditions we're seeing out here right now. That is what the major concern is for officials. But we've actually moved over to Port Orange because we've seen some pretty major flooding here. Take a look. This is right on Halifax Avenue, right off of the Dunlawton Bridge, right near Aunt Catfish's on the river, a very popular restaurant in this area prone to flooding. And if you can see down this street, you can actually see waves from the Halifax River. It looks like an ocean almost just pouring into the road here, and that's very concerning because this is a residential road, lots of homes, and unfortunately it looks like that water is just going crashing right into their front door. If we can't really even see the Halifax itself since it's so dark, but we can see a boathouse out there, and it looks like the water is just rising way above where it should be at this point, and as you can see, it's creeping down Halifax here closer to the bridge, so it's definitely going to cause some issues once the sun rises. Hopefully not too much damage for the people that live on the street, but it just goes to show you how much water Hurricane Nicole is bringing with it into this area, causing some major concerns. So we did speak with Sheriff Chitwood not too long ago. He told us he did meet with his water rescue team. They have their high water vehicles ready to go. However, they're only responding if people call 911. And they're hoping that they don't get too many 911 calls tonight and that people are instead riding out Hurricane Nicole in a safe space. But we'll keep you posted. For now, reporting live in Port Orange, Nicole Griffin, Spectrum News. Nicole, we appreciate that live report. Some good information there. From
coast of Florida battered, some cases destroyed. Hurricane Ian damaged the seawall, left homes an open risk for Nicole. And well, unfortunately, you can see the end result. Spectrum News 13 has live team coverage for you at noon today. We have Ashley Mills set up in New Smyrna Beach, where a number of buildings are unsafe. But we begin our coverage this hour with Nicole Griffin in Wilbur by the Sea along the coast, where unfortunately those homes are destroyed, and it's just a heartbreaking scene, Nicole.
It's so heartbreaking. I'm standing at one of dozens of properties that were damaged here along the coastline in Wilbur by the Sea. Take a look behind me here. The devastation is just unbelievable. We spoke to one property manager who says it has not even hit her yet as she works to save what she can.
I just started bawling.
Property manager Krista Goodrich has still not processed the destruction on the shoreline in Wilbur by the Sea.
They had a huge patio all the way down to there that you could hang out on. Their steps survived Ian, so they still had concrete steps after Ian. We had zero concern that this building was going, and here it is.
As CEO of Salty Dog Vacations, she manages 130 properties and is working hard to help her tenants save as many things as they can. But contractors warn her the fractured building has moved an inch closer to the edge since this morning.
It might not have been that wide. Okay, so we need to move quick to get this stuff out.
In Volusia County, 49 buildings have been deemed unsafe since the storm.
This was the living room. She had just decorated it. You can see her TVs in the ceiling.
While Goodrich works to find her tenants new places to live, with so much devastation, she worries about the future of her business if there are no buildings left to manage.
This is supposed to be paradise. And it is still paradise, and we will rebuild it to an even better paradise, but it's just heartbreaking.
Goodrich says she manages several properties that she hasn't even been able to access yet. However, she is bracing for the worst, expecting more of her properties to sink into the ocean. Now, I want to send things over to my colleague Ashley Mills, who is in New Smyrna Beach, where more buildings are being deemed unsafe.
The Volusia County coastline was one of the hardest hit areas during Hurricane Nicole. The damage leaving so many people without homes because they literally fell
onto the ocean waters. They could not take the punishing, repeated, gravity from the waves coming into the Wilbur by the Sea area. That's an area that was really hard hit.
Yeah, devastating to see those images there. Nicole Griffin joins us right now. She is live this morning there. And Nicole, can you walk us through what you're seeing so far this morning?
Beth and Curtis, it is just devastating to see this damage here. I mean, take a look behind me. You can see this house just fell into the Atlantic Ocean. The contents of the bathroom now just hanging on the side. You can see their shower is still on, and they are not alone in this. If we pan here, you can see this pool right behind me is just barely hanging on to the side, as well as that's the case for many of the neighbors here. And these are just a couple of the 49 buildings that we know of here in this area that have now been deemed unsafe. And we want to give you a look at some different daylight video here and some of the stats that we're getting from officials so far. At this time, we know 4 hotels and condos have been deemed unsafe. 25 single-family homes were also declared structurally unsafe in Wilbur by the Sea. Residents we spoke to say many of the homes that were not damaged in Hurricane Ian just 6 weeks ago did not get that lucky this time around, and they were damaged by Nicole. Arlissa Payne and her family, who have an oceanfront home right here that is now damaged, says it's hard for people to prepare for these types of storms when the strength of the storm doesn't exactly align with the destruction it can cause.
I think this caught a lot of people off guard, but how do you prepare for this? I mean, people can't prepare for it.
Despite being surrounded by catastrophic damage, the mom of 4 is remaining optimistic. She says it's because she still has a home when many don't. However, she is concerned about the integrity of her seawall. And we spoke to one resident that was out here earlier just taking in the damage, and he really summed it up best. He said, we can take one storm, but we can't take 2. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, right now, Volusia County officials are asking people not to come out here on the beach just because of how much damage there is here. With the tides, more damage could come later today, so it's very important to stay far away from these things. They also have several patrols out here. We've seen a heavy police presence. Sheriff Mike Chitwood with Volusia County says they're doing everything they can to prevent any looting for these families that have already lost so much this week. But we'll continue to keep you updated on the status of these homes throughout the day. For now, in Volusia County, Nicole Griffin, Spectrum News.
Those groups work to make things easier. There is still a lot of cleanup to do. Spectrum News 13's Nicole Griffin joins us live on Hope Circle. Nicole, this will take them quite a while.
Tammy, it definitely will. I mean, take a look behind me. You can see a lot of cleanup efforts underway. A lot of families here losing everything, even their beds. You can see they're all stacked up here, ready to be thrown away. Now, the Wright family has lived here on Hope Circle for the last half a century, and they say it's impossible to tally up what this historic flooding has cost them.
If anything, we expected like an inch or so, not feet.
When Willie Wright Jr. returned home, all he could see was water. Days after Hurricane Ian, the water still lingers, even in his fridge.
It was floating on the side, so when I lifted it up, I figured water still come out.
Because of that nearly 3 feet of flooding, he's dragging out almost everything from the home he's lived in with his father since the day he was born.
I had a couple of, why you take it with you? I was like, because I ain't expected it to be this bad.
He and his 86-year-old dad, Willie Wright Sr., are appreciative of the help they've been getting from organizations like the American Red Cross.
Sorry, that's the best I got to offer today.
Trying to keep their spirits high.
They're real nice, everybody real nice.
They're hopeful they'll be back on their feet soon, as FEMA has already stopped by to assess the damage. But at times, soaking it all in can be overwhelming.
This is a family picture. It never got this bad.
Inside, Wright has managed to clean out most of the rooms. His father's is now down to bare bones.
He said he wanted to keep it going in the family, so he didn't want to sell it, so we never thought it'd be this empty, especially doing something like this.
But it's not enough for them to give up hope on their home on Hope Circle.
He's gonna make sure we rebuild it.
Now you can see here on their minivan just how high the floodwaters got, enough to total their car here. A big devastating loss for the family. Another loss, these refrigerators here that were part of their barbecue business that they ran out of their home. So this flood has cost them their car, their business, and their home. A big loss for many families in this area. For now, reporting live in Orange County, Nicole, Griffin, Spectrum News.
For many here in Central Florida, due to Hurricane Ian, their lives changed overnight. Where floodwaters have receded, some are now facing the damage left behind. Spectrum News 13's Nicole Griffin spoke with one family in East Orange County that has spent the last several days gutting their home. Nicole, have they had to get rid of everything?
Tammy, just about. I mean, most of what the Velasquez family owns now sits on the curb in front of their house here. Take a look. You can see even their floorboards are here. The couches where they tell me their kids would normally do their homework are now waterlogged with floodwater brought on by Hurricane Ian. It's put a lot of strain on them and many other families in East Orange County that are now worried about their futures.
Let me see if I can tug from this side maybe, and you can pull on that side.
Piece by piece, Janet and Stephen Velasquez are busy tearing apart what's left of their family home. There's very little that floodwaters from Hurricane Ian did not damage.
It's so surreal. What do you do? What do you tell your kids, you know?
Outside on the driveway, years of memories laid out to dry.
There are no words to say thank you. I can't make out the rip. Oh no, I'm not even gonna try to rip.
Having been a teen mom and the first person from her family to graduate college, these notes and mementos from her children have always been a source of strength for Velasquez, reminding her what she worked so hard for. Having weathered many storms in this home, she didn't think they were at risk.
I never imagined flood.
Despite not being in a flood zone here, as the storm hit East Orange County, water rushed into their home.
The house had water level was about here.
It's a new reality that's hard to swallow as she walks through the now empty rooms where she raised her family.
The insurance said that they don't have flood coverage on my policy, and so none of this is covered, that this is all of our responsibility to replace.
In the backyard, it's still hard to believe that this now calm river rose up and caused this much destruction.
The water got up to this high.
While they can no longer live in their home and are unsure of what the future holds, Velasquez is confident they'll get through it one day at a time.
What do you do? But just try to slowly pick up the pieces of life and rebuild.
It's not just the Velasquez family dealing with this. I mean, if you take a look down their street, you can see piles of belongings just waiting to be picked up. Many of these neighbors also saying that they do not have flood insurance as well. For now, reporting live in East Orange County, Nicole Griffin, Spectrum News.
Well, the storm was certainly not kind to a Daytona Beach Shores institution. The back half of that well-known restaurant and pier were hurled into the sea, and that means workers don't have a job there anymore. But, you know, a lot of people are taking action and donating to a fundraiser. Spectrum News 13's Nicole Griffin right now introducing us to a worker who lost more than most as she works to get back on her feet.
That's table 55 that's hanging on by a thread right there, and that was everyone's favorite table in the restaurant.
Danielle Nichols, lead server at Daytona's iconic Krabby Joe's, is still shocked to see what Hurricane Ian did to the restaurant she loved so much.
My babies took their first steps here. This is our home. It's our second home.
One she won't be able to return to anytime soon.
The more I look at it, the more you just are scared it could be one bad rainstorm and more of it falls down.
She's now just one of 150 employees here that are out of a job, a fact made even harder by what the storm did to her home just a few miles away.
It really is like a grieving process, losing all your things.
Inside, she's still looking for what she can salvage for her 2 kids.
There's about 10 books in here, and I think there's the only books that survived the flood.
As she processes what happened.
Because it's not just our home that is unlivable right now, it's my job and my sense of security.
In the playroom, Nichols watches videos she took of the rising floodwaters in her home just before she left with her husband, kids, and pets. While they've since started cleaning up and signed a lease on a place to stay in the meantime.
We have to pay our mortgage too, and the problem is Insurance is slow right now. Claims are slow.
It's a tough load to bear, but one made lighter with the help of her fellow staff members. Not only have they come to help, but managers have raised $31,000 so far to split between all the employees affected by Ian.
Your family, and they stick together.